What's going on, people? So, down here, side of the box and whatnot, right? Pretty standard stuff. At this point, I think it was like, let's see, it is the 13th today. So that makes these shoes 12 days old. And a lot of videos went out like the day of, so I'm not going to go getting too deep into these because I feel like it's kind of unnecessary. And also anybody who's interested in these specifically likely knows exactly what they're getting into already. So this video is more just because I do videos on all the shoes that I buy, you know. In case you're curious though, in case for some reason like you happen to somehow end up right here and skip the thumbnail and the title and whatnot, this is the Air Jordan 12 Retro in the Flu Game colorway, which it probably doesn't say Flu Game on the side of the box. My guess would be Black and Red, maybe Varsity Red or University Red, some kind of red, right? I don't know. I didn't really look at it, but you know, it just doesn't make sense that it would say Flu Game on there because it's not really a color. Down there on the bottom, right? I do like the way Jordan 12s look on the bottom, mostly just because like that middle section, I really like that carbon fiber thing that they have going on. It just makes for a cool design. Otherwise, these, you know, you kind of know what you're going to get into as far as color-wise goes because they tend to match up with the upper. So anyways, we can move on past the bottom piece, talk about the mid-side, midsole and whatnot, all that stuff. That, basically like a lot of what you saw down at the bottom, you know, you got some more of that red, got a little bit of the black in the back, right? That's kind of how things are going. And if you want to look at the inside, that looks very much the same, you know, almost exactly, but like a slightly different look, right? Just because this whole mudguard thing has been switched around a wee bit. But anyways, past that, real quick, some other pictures in here for the people who for some reason may not really be familiar with this but are watching this video, which again, I just can't imagine anybody's watching this that doesn't really know about these already. It just doesn't make sense to me, you know. But anyways, it could happen, you know, right? Possibly, maybe. So yeah, quick look at these. A lot of red, well, a lot of black and some red, right? You know, it's mostly black. So there's going to be that whole thing for you. Now let's move on from there, and I will say this, you know, right up top, because again, I'm not doing like a full-on breakdown of everything because it doesn't make sense. I will say that I do like the way these feel, right? Now, I'm not a big shoe guy to the point of like really sitting here talking about like the materials and all this stuff. If you've seen a lot of the stuff I do, I'm really big on running shoes and stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like my thing. But I just happen to notice, well, this doesn't feel too bad, you know? So don't really like take my word as some sort of like authority on the matter or anything like that, because it is far from that, like so far from that. I'm just saying like it's cool with me, and since it's my money that like made these things happen, that's good enough for me, right? But anyways, past all that, I don't think there's a whole lot to really say here, you know? So I guess I'll just jump on into like the personal thoughts piece maybe and tell you, well, first I'm going to tell you like how these things came to be, because I got a bit of a rant here, right? So if you don't want to hear this old man rant about some nonsense that ultimately doesn't matter in the grand scheme of life, go ahead, skip on forward to like the next part that makes sense. You know, there's timestamps. I'm good about that. So I put in a raffle on, well, I put in a raffle on what, FootLocker, right? And Champs, you know, that whole thing. Because that just kind of made sense, you know? I saw these coming around, kind of interested in them. Put that out there, figured we'll see what happens, right? And then, who was it? JD Sports, you know, they're all big on this whole early access thing for status people. So they're all like, hey man, you want some of these Jordan 12s? And I'm like, I guess so, yeah, let's do that. And they're like, all right, here, check out. Give us 1,000 of your flex points, or status points, I mean. So I do that. They're like, all right, cool, dude, we'll send them out the day that the release happens because that's how things work. And I'm like, oh, all right. Real simple, right? But I still had this raffle open, right? Because I thought if I can win them, like, I had it set for just the in-store. So I thought if I can win these in-store, that could be kind of cool. Then I can get them earlier or whatever, right? Does it matter? No, but it's cool to be able to get something in-store, right? Just nice. So I put in the raffle, win the raffle, and then like the whole FootLocker Champs application thing just falls apart because apparently it's still trash. It's been kind of just straight booty for many, many years, right? And it's not any better, and I just didn't know because I don't buy a lot of stuff through raffles anymore. It just doesn't need to happen. So yeah, I'm on there like for the next day or something trying to like confirm this win, because it's like, hey, you won. I'm like, okay, click here to confirm. It's like, hey, you won. I'm like, okay, click here to confirm. It's like, hey, you won. I'm like, we're not going to keep doing this, people. So eventually, like, that doesn't get fixed. Crazy, right? So I call like the stores that I think I put in on, you know, I'm like, hey, like, I'm trying to see if I won this raffle like at this store, and they're like, oh, we don't have you on here, but like try the other stores. I'm like, okay. Call the next store and like, yeah, we have you on the list. So apparently like FootLocker at least just like confirmed it for you. So then I go and I pick these things up from the FootLocker. And that in itself was a whole nother side story. Let's talk about that for a moment, right? So here's the thing, people. That morning, I had a 5K that morning, right? So it's like, I don't know, 20 miles that way or something. 15, I don't know, something like that. It's that way, right? I go over there, do that whole thing. Then I go like, I guess like 30 to 40 miles that way for this other running event. There's an Adidas shoe demo thing, and I usually go to those. So go there, I do that whole thing. That's when like I find out that this shoe is waiting for me back where I went to that first 5K. So I have to go way back over there, which now is like crazy far because, you know, distance works that way. So I get those. Then I'm like, okay, good. Now I can get home and watch Elimination Chamber, right? It's just a terrible day in a lot of ways. But anyways, I get there, get the shoes. And the thing that did actually kind of work out here is that I guess something has changed, and now you can use like your flex points when you're checking out to like make things cheaper. So I was able to get these for like just under 200, which is kind of cool, right? But man, like the work that I had to put in on these. Last time I won a pair in 2016, if I remember correctly, that's the pair that I won a raffle in the older way they used to do things. And I was at like was that an Insane Clown Posse show when that happened? I forget where I was. But yeah, I got a call from FootLocker, and they're like, hey man, like, just so you know, you won the raffle. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll be there. Because like they knew me, so it was like, you know, they knew who they were talking to. So yeah, things have changed in this 9 years. All right, personal thoughts piece, right? You know what? 9 years ago, when I first got these things, I thought to myself, wow, these are pretty alright. Because like the Jordan 12 was still new to me. You know, I got into them in 9th grade when I first saw a pair. Hoped one day I might have a pair of my own. Took 20 years, but I did it. So when I first got the other shoes, the other 12s in 2016, they were still new, still exciting, still super cool, right? But now I look at these and I think, like, it's not bad, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm still a fan of them. It's a visually simple thing. It just has a cool silhouette look to it. The model design is cool. And I like this color layout, so I got no complaints about it. But I will say, having bought many, many shoes over the last many years, they don't hit as hard as they used to, where it's like, oh wow, like I can't wait to get these. Like now I get them and it's like, honestly, sometimes I feel like entitled, like, of course I got these, right? It's a thing, it happens if you get enough stuff. But at the same time, I look at these still realistically and think like, yeah, these are pretty nice. Like, didn't really need them, but it's nice to have them. And so here we are talking about them, right? So I say that to say this. I like these. I do. I think it's a cool look. It's just that 2025 Tristan sees them in a very different light than 2016 Tristan, when these would have like just knocked my socks clean off, people. Clean off. So that being that, we're going to move on, talk about some sizing, talk about some comfort, wrap this thing up. I bought these in a size 9, right? My 2016 pair was 9.5. That was the whole catalyst for me wanting this pair, right? Not knowing how sizing worked back in 2016 is what led to this whole thing. So anyways, bought these in a size 9. It's working out better. I personally feel like Jordan 12s run a little big, right? So that's why I go half size down on them. Not everybody shares that same thought. Some people do, some people don't. You know, watch a handful of reviews or whatever. Find someone whose mind works the way your mind works and whose foot works the way your foot works. Do what they do, right? It'll probably work out a little better. I don't know. But that's just my take on it, right? I go half size down. Some cases, depending on the materials and the cuts and whatnot, I've been able to get by going a whole size down. It's kind of weird in that way. But anyways, past that though, as far as like the comfort and whatnot in the Jordan 12, I mean, again, like it's comfortable on the scale of like Jordan 1s through 12s, because that's the only Jordan models that I wear, right? So it's comfortable in that range if you're grading by that criteria, right? However, I kind of don't, because I wear a lot of like actual running shoes. I'm a running shoe guy, right? So that's my thing. I buy a lot of stuff that is straight up built for comfort. Kind of makes the playing field a little uneven, and definitely not in these things' favor. So when I sit here and I say that I don't find them to be all that comfortable, it's because of what I generally wear, right? Other people have said like that wear a lot of Jordan type things. They say that they work out pretty well. So I'd say if you're like a person that wears a lot of basketball shoe type things or whatever, maybe these will work out well for you as well. But the same thing I always say in these things, what's it even matter, right? A lot of people are buying these things because they look pretty cool. I get that. They do look pretty cool, right? I mean, that's why I got them. I didn't buy them because I wanted to be comfortable, right? I buy other stuff for that. So I just like to put that out there, something to think about, you know. But hey, do whatever you want to do. It's your life. Live it how you want to live it. Unless you're doing things that are illegal, in which case you should probably not do them, you know, just for best results and like not going to prison or something. Something to think about. But anyways, that's it for me. From me to you. Have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I am done recording videos. Let's see, what is it? Probably knock out these on feet things, then go on to work. So yeah, later people.